Welcome to Rubber Duck Engineering. Tonight, we will do 80s retro line art in React, in TypeScript, in REPL. It's going to be amazing.
So many things.
We need this like wheel of technology that we can like spin at the beginning of every show. Like, what language you're going to write in, what like framework are you going to use, like what tool.
I think now that is clearly our next show. We need to build the wheel of technology so we can spin the wheel.
This is my favorite thing about the show is I get to explore all these new things. I mean, they're not new. Like React is not new. It's just new to me. I've never used it. People, when we were doing Flutter, people were saying, "Oh, you should build a reactive UI tool." You know, like React. I was like, "Okay, that sounds cool," but I didn't actually like try React. I just sort of imagined what it was like and tried to do something like that.
I remember when Raph came back from the mountain and said to us that we were doing it all wrong and we need to rewrite a third time. This time reactive.
I mean, I think he was right. Like it worked out really well. Right. Anyway, it turns out real React works differently than how I imagined React was going to work. What?
Okay. So we're going to learn real React tonight?
So it's a React-based project. I mostly want to do canvas drawing because I like canvas drawing. I think like 80s like line art is pretty cool because I don't know, I was born in the 80s or something, and so my mind is twisted. But yeah. But the other thing is, last time we did a project in JavaScript was the render tree project. And it was very frustrating to like get the thing to work. And so we had a choice, or I had a choice in setting up the project to do React with JavaScript or React with TypeScript. And so I picked TypeScript because I that's what the cool kids use, I guess. And so I wanted to sort of see what like typed JavaScript was like today.
Is my memory just fading in my old age, or was that one you did by yourself?
Did what?
The render tree. Did you do it one time when I was gone?
I mean, it was mostly Ian and I who did it. Like Ian spec'd out the entire render tree, and so when Ian did the
you mean for Flutter?
Oh, the JavaScript render tree project. Yeah, you were out for some reason, and so I had to do the whole show myself, and so I decided to I don't know, do something in JavaScript and build a render tree. I don't know. It was fun. It's kind of a disaster, but it was fun.
But tonight we are going back to the world of React.
Yeah, or visiting it for the first time. So okay, should we do a tour of? So I created on Replit. They have these really nice template projects that get you going with all of the. Because if you actually want to set up a React project yourself, there's all this stuff you need to do with like Yarn and Node. I don't know. But Replit has these nice template projects. You just like instantiate the template, and it's got everything all wired up for you.
I see. It has our yarn lock.
Yeah, I don't know what the yarn lock is. It doesn't really matter.
Okay. Run yarn dev. Okay. I have no idea what yarn is, but probably ties you in knots.
So I think starting with HTML, index.html is a reasonable place to start.
Okay. Index.html. It says HTML5.
Boom. Will there ever be an HTML6? Nobody knows. Anyway, so here you just put all of your things in to tell the browser to please be sane, like put in your doc type and tell everything is going to be UTF-8. Tell the viewport is going to be sane. Anyway, and then you basically load in, you have this div called ID root. And then as far as I can tell, React just populates that div with your entire app. And then you have a script type equals module. And then you reference your main TypeScript file.
I'm confused how this works.
So I believe how this works is, so the browser respects the type attribute on the script tag. And so since the browser doesn't, no, it just doesn't know what that is or something. I don't know. But somehow that says this is not really JavaScript. This is something else.
But is this index.html the thing that's actually served?
So I don't know. So I think if you try inspecting element on the big purple thing. So the big purple thing is like a preview of this.
Oh, that's the wrong inspect. Or I think this may just be like a picture. Yeah, this is just an image.
No, it's got the whole thing there. It's like an iframe. So if you click on it, like inspect it. If you scroll up, so go look in the head there and see what you actually got served.
Like there's clearly more.
Yeah, it's something, this Yarn web server that's running things is somehow rewriting and messing with.
Yeah, okay. That makes
your
sense.
thing.
It's because, again, having worked on browsers for too many years, I read through this and like there's no script. Like this, I don't remember, like module, I don't know what that does.
It's clearly not a thing. It's clearly something that something else is using to do magic behind the scenes.
Yeah. I also read this and like, it amuses me. I think I remember us making this possible, not like you and I, but like browser devs making it possible for you to have a fave icon that was an SVG.
Well, I mean, the whole thing is super amusing, right? Because they have all these like close. They're like pretending they're writing in XML, so they try to mark all these self-closing tags, but like
we just don't do anything.
I mean, you and I wrote the parser. We know that this is just ignored. Like this part is super important. This part totally useless. Pretty useless, but pretty. Notice that they don't do it here, of course, because it doesn't work. You can't have a self-closing script tag.
Yes.
The content model for the script tag is not. It's not this.
I just feel so broken looking at HTML because like I spent my entire career looking at it from the other side.
It's okay. A piece of art. They decided it. I didn't add those slashes. It was part of the template project. They decided the beautiful way of writing HTML is to self-close, like put this nonsense thing here to self-close the self-closing tags.
It's like the cultural damage that XHTML did to the world. It's like the one thing that remains from it.
Anyway,
okay.
That's the HTML file. So the next step on this path is main.ts. This thing.
And what is TSX? I kind of know, but let's explain.
So so TS is TypeScript.
Okay.
X is cool. So
it's got a cool.
So here is the really neat idea in React.js, from my opinion. One of the really cool ideas is they didn't write .js files like normal human beings. They wrote JSX files, which allowed them to basically embed markup inside their JavaScript. So it was like E4X, if you remember what that was, but E4X done by people who wanted to make web pages.
I remember we looked at this for Flutter and decided it was too expensive.
Regardless, this is what they do. So this is like the main file, and so you're sort of tooling along doing like normal like JavaScript module stuff, and then here in the middle of your JavaScript, you just like plop some like angle brackets, and the X means it's cool. This is going to work out. So my understanding is this: we've asked React to please, in strict mode, render our app. Okay. And then we find our root div that we saw before. We said, I think please put that here.
I really want to know what the parser for this looks like. Like, is this a load-bearing close tag?
Clearly a load-bearing close tag. It just destroyed the app.
But like, what? Yeah, this parser seems fascinating to me. The idea.
You got a question.
Okay, I will answer that question, but like, we enter with a less than sign, and then we're looking for a literal, and then we go into a different tag mode that like only once we get this exact string do we exit.
Somehow this is possible in JavaScript syntax, and it's not only been done once by React; it was also done in E4X by the actual like ECMAScript committee. Wow. But E4X has been taken out of the language, as far as I know, or it's like an extension that no one does, or whatever. It's somehow possible.
I do really enjoy the smushing together of HTML and JavaScript in this way. But to answer the question, why was it too expensive? Well, we just looked at the we have to write another editor plugin, and we have to write a different valid, like creating a whole nother language derivation, and then teaching all the editors how to use it and the analyzer and all that stuff was just too expensive for our tiny little team at the time.
I think also like a development philosophy, right? It's like you ain't gonna need it kind of philosophy. Like, well, let's see how far we can go just using code, and then maybe we'll find that doesn't work, and then we'll need to layer on some markup or something. And we kind of just kept going. And when new people would start writing in Flutter, they'd be like, "Hey, where's your markup?" I'd be like, "We don't really have markup," and they're like, "Really?" And then they use it for 5 minutes and they don't care. So,
well, it forced us to make the language better and simpler to use. There were other areas where we had added things early on, and then we ended up deleting them. Like we added what was the Cupertino auto layout thing?
We had this like constraint-based layout system.
Yeah.
Nobody used it, so we ripped it out.
And we added JNI, Dart JNI, that like nobody used it, and so we ripped it out. And like, yeah, it's amazing how few things you need. So anyway, so okay, so you've sprinkled the X magic here.
Yeah. Okay. So the next thing we should look at is app.tsx.
Okay. So import star from React.
Yeah. So in React, functions and tags are the same thing. So this syntax really means call this function. And then the things you pass in here end up being basically arguments to the function.
And so export means somebody else can call this from another, because everything is default private in React?
No, so this is now JavaScript Modules, which is a thing that was invented after I stopped writing a lot of JavaScript.
Okay.
So like in the ancient past, when you would write in JavaScript, every time you would type, you would be working in the global scope. And if you like declared a variable, that would be a global variable for your entire web page. So in modules, you get your own little namespace to work in.
Sure.
And you can import stuff from other modules, like in any sane programming language.
Yep.
And then you export things that then can be imported. So if you just write like a function here, you like function foo or whatever.
You didn't include the global scope.
And now they prelude to the global scope. Yeah. No one else can see this.
Well, yeah, because previously you writing that anywhere in JavaScript now caused everyone to have window.foo.
Correct.
You might have overridden someone's window.foo. And yeah. And so, okay, so the default, what is this? This is like the init function for this module or something?
I'm not 100% sure, but what I believe is when you import from here, the thing you get with a bare name is the default. But you can export other things that have names. So you can import like, let's say I said, let's try this. Let's define function foo return 42. All right. I believe I can say export foo.
Well, I just don't understand how that's just like a different use of the word export. What's the default part?
So I'm going to explain. So if someone wants to import from this thing, if they just import the name of the module, they get this.
Okay.
They get the default export, but they can import foo from this module and then get this one. So default basically means take this thing and promote it to the empty string as its name.
Makes it so you don't have to call app.app in order to get this thing.
Correct.
Because everything is namespaced in these imports. Or I guess this isn't when you do import star.
Correct. So I've exploded, but import canvas.
Yeah. All right, and then function I understand, and then app, and you said that like they do this uppercase because it turns them into tags or something, or are we
I think it's just a convention that their tags are uppercase functions.
Okay. And then next is canvas.tsx?
Yeah, canvas.tsx. So this has actually a bunch of code in it.
All right, so this is our private resize function.
Yeah, so I would read it from the bottom of the file. So we're going to export, our default export is this canvas function. This canvas function receives props. So properties are like, it would if you were writing markup, would be that like tags, the attributes of the tag.
And do the cool kids use lambdas and const in order to define functions this way?
Apparently. I don't know why. I got a bunch of this code from a tutorial about how to draw a canvas thing, and this was the style that they use, and I didn't. So the tutorial was in JavaScript, not TypeScript. So I put it in here and I added some types. Like I don't know if any is the right type for here, but it made it go. So
okay. Okay.
And then here this thing returns, and it returns canvas with a lowercase c. So this ends up being a legit like HTML tag.
Because we're case sensitive. We're case sensitive in our function names, but not our tag names.
No, these are all case. This is not really HTML that's parsing here. This is just another syntax for writing JavaScript. So I believe I could just do the same thing by writing canvas and then passing the props as the argument, basically. I believe this is completely equivalent. Or maybe not because it's mad. But
what was the ... doing there? Are you splatting? Like,
this is saying I got a bunch of properties. Up here, I steal some of them. Oh, I don't steal any of them. I just pass them through.
but what's the ...
It splats them out. So
I see. So it's a map. This prop is
I believe it's a map, and then I'm exploding the map back into attributes to pass them through to the canvas.
okay.
And then ref, this somehow lets me reference my children. So this seems to be like we have keys in Flutter. This seems to be a way of getting a handle to
React, use ref to this thing. Okay. I don't know what the null means. Maybe that's like default.
That's the default, yeah. This makes a ref. And then here, this is some callback. And then using the ref, I can find the current element or thing that has that from that reference. So it looks exactly like a key, right? Like imagine this was a key, and then I called like, give me the current widget or whatever that goes with that key.
I remember I joined the Safari team right after Canvas had shipped. I'm amused that we still write this, like in hopes of someday that we will do get context 3D, or maybe is 3D a thing?
Oh no, that's the thing now. That's how you get WebGL. WebGL, you get the 3D-ness of your canvas, and now you can shoot like OpenGL commands at it, and you get a 3D canvas.
Are there any other kinds of context besides 2D and 3D?
I mean, that's why we have the magic of autocomplete. Let's see what autocomplete will give you. I guess autocomplete doesn't give you.
I've never done WebGL.
Yeah, but like let's go look. So if we go to like,
I mean, I go look MSDN. Is that still?
Yeah, I'm going to MSDN. So they'll show you like all the different options here.
This is not the one. Canvas. MDC, right? Mozilla Developer. It was always Mozilla who had the best docs. I don't know if they still.
Scroll down.
2D, WebGL, WebGL 2, and bitmap renderer. Okay. It is actually used. Good.
Yeah, it was a dream, and the dream came true.
That's good. I'm glad the dream came true. Okay.
Anyway, so all that was then to get an ability to draw.
Great. I appreciate you bringing up to speed.
That's as far as I got.
Now we're going to draw Tron, or what are we drawing tonight?
Okay, here's what I want to draw. I want to draw that. I mean, you can see it in the sort of YouTube thumbnail, but that there's like this particularly stylized sun that they had in the 80s that was like near the horizon with the like horizontal lines missing from the bottom. And then I want to draw like a vector, like ground plane that's receding to a vanishing point.
Okay.
It's my dream. I don't know if we're going to be able to do it. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I can pull up the image from the show.
Yeah, the image from the show is very close to what I want. This thing. I don't know. So they often have these mountains in the background. I don't know if we're that's beyond my dream, but
so
I thought we could
these
parallel
lines, or
and the aesthetic of having this like gradient with like neon colors that's the aesthetic that I'm looking for.
Okay, so what are we going to get done today? We're doing the sun. We're doing the.
Let's try the ground plane.
The ground plane. All right, so we have to figure out how to draw these pseudo 3D like projected vectors, right?
Yeah, so I think the MVP of the ground plane is the horizon.
Oh, so just a line.
So let's start with the horizon.
Let's do it.
Okay. So I've got the cool purple background, which is definitely where we want to be.
Okay.
we can adjust the colors. But so now I want to draw like a blue line.
Okay. I'm just amused that we took a tour of TypeScript React to draw a line. The level of technology we're deploying.
Fill
Glad we
pathing.
didn't have to ball our own yarn or yarn our own ball or whatever it does.
So I was going to try to find the middle of the screen. So like, here's my 50 by 50 thing. Like if I put this, like, is this, do I have the right width and height? It's also interesting to watch their hot reload, or well, I don't know what they call it, but
yeah, I don't know.
Like as we edit this, it's going to change over here. But I think it's reloading the browser. I don't think it's like actually updating the state on the running thing. But it's fine for us since we're just drawing. But
why are we sad about life here?
yeah. So I think that the width and height is wrong. So let's try like 10. I want to see that we can move this rectangle. We can definitely move the rectangle.
Oh.
I'm not sure how to get the actual height of the thing.
Of the canvas?
Yeah. Like we can look at this resized canvas to display thing. Maybe I messed that up.
Oh, I see, because the canvas might be way bigger than how we're drawing it.
Yeah.
What's this? This is... Are we going down this case?
Scale by the ratio.
We're having to scale it? Like, I can totally imagine that this is being drawn enough.
Why did you... Okay. Let's try this without the device pixel ratio for now. Like, let's just set the ratio 1.
What did that do?
Well, first of all, I made the box a lot smaller. That's working. When I set the ratio to 1, the like height and width work. So that I'm able to put the box roughly in the center.
And it does look more fuzzy to me.
Yeah. So okay, so now let's try to get the device pixel ratio involved here. So here's our ratio. I wonder if this is supposed to be like 1 over the ratio. Okay.
Yeah, you think it's working?
I think it's working. So now I think we can try to draw a horizontal line at the like height over 2 to get the horizon.
What? I don't understand what this is. Like, I see. We're trying to resize the canvas to be enough pixels for the display. It was looking crisper before.
Okay, so Canvas is confusing. So Canvas has like, here's the number of logical pixels it takes up on the screen. And then also using the width and height property, you get to set how many like pixels you want in your backing buffer. And I can never remember which is which.
If you can't remember, I don't know how anyone does. Like, what have we done? All right, we can also just move on.
Yeah, I think this is reasonable. Like, I think this is not quite right. We'll probably have to come and tweak this later. But this is allowing us to basically draw close to the center of the screen.
Okay, it did make it look fuzzy for reasons I don't understand.
We can also just use a ratio of 1 for now. Let's just use a ratio of 1, and then we'll have something that's going to be a little fuzzy on high density displays.
Well, it looked fuzzy before you did the inverse scaling.
I see.
But I think that was, we were like zoomed in or something in some way.
Does it look fuzzy now? I think this is
fuzzy
fine.
to me. But
I think it's going to be fuzzy. I think we're not quite doing the scaling right.
Yeah. All right. Moving on. You wanted to draw.
I wanted to draw a line.
Okay.
So trying to figure out.
Doesn't it have line technology, Canvas?
Yeah. Line 2 looks like is the function. So we probably need to like move to.
I bet.
Move to. I'm sort of sad that it's not auto-completing.
I haven't tried.
Move to 0, 0. Really want to move to like height or 2.
I think you also can build up a path and have it draw a path.
Yeah.
Looking for examples here. I see. CTX begin path, move to line 2, stroke.
CTX begin path.
Okay.
Okay. And fall stroke again.
And you probably want this to be stroke style.
Okay. Okay.
This is so wild. You just like, this is some giant complicated object, just like.
Well, you can pass all kinds of like neat CSS things there to get good things. Okay. So now we need to draw the like cool vanishing lines all converging. Oh, we can do the horizontal lines. Why don't we do those?
Okay.
So we need like a loop, right?
Like the fact that you can do this is not necessarily bad. It's just a little wild. It's very implicit rather than explicit. If you add another property, you have to like pick a default that all previous examples of blue now imply.
Yes.
I know it does know how to do indent. There you go. Whoa. Object parse statement context. Babel parser. Index.js.
Oh yeah. After from the error message, you can like reverse engineer all of the crazy levels of machinery that are going on here. Oh, it's int. Int's not a thing, right? It's var. Okay.
I mean, the web and JavaScript sometimes feel like it's like someone handed you a spoon, and it was like, go build an entire city.
But it works. The crazy thing is that it works.
It does. It does. But it is built on a spoon. I think we can close this.
This.
Okay. Yeah.
That, I guess. All right, we're getting there. It's looking cool and retro.
Whoa. Yeah. You don't want a line to. Yeah. Whoa. Contents diverge. Choose server changes. I haven't typed, so.
Nailed it. I think that's too many. Better? Okay.
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 It don't look straight, but I think that's just an optical illusion.
It's gotta be straight. Like when you draw by hand, you gotta worry about straightness with it.
This feels very reminiscent of doing the Christmas tree. Or the holiday tree or whatever we did. Or vertical lines.
Pretty.
So they need like a vanishing point that is not the middle center, like somewhere further.
One of the middle center. Oh,
right.
They don't vanish to the middle. Where's our reference picture? Oh yeah, look at that.
right? Their vanishing point is like out.
Whoa, that's wild.
It's cool though. Like, and then are you gonna clip them?
Yeah.
Or are you gonna just somehow calculate the math to like draw to the intersect?
Uh-huh. I hear what you're saying.
And the gradient is great.
But let's start simple.
Having
And then
them
we're gonna
all.
we're gonna add the gradient somehow. So move to.
Oh, the gradient should be straightforward. CSS gradients are like super powerful. You can like set a function.
Okay.
So doing gradients that are like based on where you are. Or maybe I'm
Where do
thinking
I want to move to? I always want to move to like the full height. Okay. But like X. The X I want to like march along the bottom, right?
Oh, which way are you? Are you drawing them up or drawing them down?
I'm drawing them from the vanishing point.
Okay.
I just want to do width.
Just rename the show trigonometry.
Trigonometry. There's no curves yet. Okay. That is what I told the computer to do, but not what I want. So now I think what I need to do is I need to move instead of having them all hit this middle point, I think I need to move the points further away. Right?
You need to move the what? Like, this is what you want. If you cut this halfway, you've basically done what you want.
But I can do that by spreading apart. Instead of having the move to thing, have them all move to exactly the thing. I need some sort of like dispersion there. Like, do you see what I'm saying? Like, X. What if this was?
We're also going to do the math, right? You're intersecting two lines. You can calculate the slope of. I don't know if I want to do the trigonometry, but.
I did. See how I'm getting closer?
Okay.
But now I need to like shift them to be in the center.
Well, and you're also going to have them go off screen some because you're going to not want this like empty.
Yeah. I think I want this. I just want to spread them way out, right? Because like I want to actually have the top line go from left to right, and the bottom line go from like the double or triple that width.
Sure.
Okay, so I think I want this actually width like this. Okay. Then I need to spread out the bottom lines. Like this is like, I don't know, 4 times that minus.
I see, but are they actually okay? Yeah, because they're evenly spaced on the top.
On the horizon.
On the horizon, right? And they'll be differently evenly spaced close to you. All right, that makes sense. Whoa.
Let's start with this. Okay.
So another way to think about it is just like you could have horizon spacing.
Tell me more. That sounds like an intriguing idea.
Or you just could have. You are currently taking the like. You can just calculate out like what is your like low spacing is equal to whatever width divided by k number of right, except this is actually high spacing, right? Or horizon.
Yep. This is the stride, right? The stride.
Sure. And this is that's like far stride, and this is near stride or something like.
Yeah.
Like that. I don't know.
Yeah, and this is like 4, right? 4 times that.
Sure. I actually don't think it's probably 4. I think it's probably like 1.4. I mean,
Really?
it might be.
Look.
Like if you just look at the difference between the strides, it's like 2. It's like twice as.
Okay, 2. Okay. So now we need the far origin, right?
Well, you actually want the origin, quote unquote, to be the middle, and you want to go positive and negative from that, or.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
Right? You want it to be centered.
You want to basically take to start at like minus number of vertical lines over 2, while you're less than vertical lines over 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then you basically have this being I need my stride, right? This is the far stride. Okay, this is the near stride. This is the far x. This is the near x.
I feel like this right now is a lesson in system design, because there's about 8 different ways we could design this, and it kind of doesn't matter which one we pick. It more matters that we agree.
This is half width plus this, right? And then is this also half width plus this?
Why is our stride so tiny? Oh, because it's divided by number of vertical lines again? Is that?
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. That's right. We just need I, right? We already put in that constant. We don't want to square it. Oh, look at that.
I think, yeah.
Okay. Now we need the gradient.
Okay. So the gradient should be straight. Let's see.
It looks like how do you do it CSS?
It looks like it's a global gradient. It looks like it's a radial gradient too.
I think we just set the stroke style to be like some kind of CSS gradient instead of just color blue.
And it'll just do it.
How do we do that?
Well, in SVG, there's like globally referenced gradients, and I remember writing all this stuff back in 2005 or whatever it was. I'll have to find. Okay, I'm gonna get a CSS gradient tutorial because I don't remember.
I don't know. What does this do? That was not
it's possible that SVG gradients are different from CSS gradients.
Oh, okay. Does Canvas use SVG stuff?
Well, it used to be that you could set. It was just different ways of making the same thing. So you could end up making an SVG gradient, and you could shove it in the Canvas slot, if I recall correctly. Right.
Oh, they want you. The tutorial that I said has like a programmatic way of doing it. It looks like this. Context, create linear gradient, add stop, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, something like that. Yep.
Then you set this to this.
I think you're going to want radio, but yeah, start there.
Okay. That's looking cool.
Yeah, not exactly what you want. Like the stops aren't quite. Why is it at 0 and 1? What does the create linear gradient do? Gradient. Okay, x0, 1. X-axis. Okay.
Can we look at our reference picture again? I just want to study the gradient a little more closely to see what it's supposed to look like.
Oh, sure. I mean, you don't have to match this exactly. Again, I think that they did a radial gradient here.
Yes, I think you're right, because it seems to taper off to the side.
Well, it's hard to see through the rubber duck engineering, but I suspect that there's like a curve to it.
Yeah. Okay. So let's do a radial gradient. So we need like create radial gradient of some sort.
I'm sure that exists. Create conic gradient. Create radial gradient. What the heck's a conic gradient?
I don't know. Here's the sample code from the website.
Whoa! Start angle. Start position. Okay. Yeah. No, I want just a radial gradient.
What are these arguments here?
I think it's setting up the coordinate system of the gradient.
Thanks for coming.
The x-axis coordinate of the start circle, the y-axis of the start circle.
So this is okay. So the x-axis is going to be like, let's say, start with half height, half width. Okay. What's the next argument?
Coordinate systems. are these? Gradient coordinates are global relative to the coordinate space. When applied to the shape, the gradient coordinates are not relative to shape coordinates. Yes. Okay.
Okay.
SVG used to let you have like the ability you could flip between those modes, which was crazy.
So what are the rest of the arguments here?
And then there's the radius of the inner circle is the third argument, and then the where it stops is the. So you're going to actually want the center again. You're just changing radii. Yeah.
Where does it stop? What does that mean?
The outer circle, but this is the origin of the outer circle. So then
Okay.
Right.
Oh, check that out. Oh, whatever you just did was super cool.
What did I do?
I'm not sure.
So I think what I just read was that this is x0, y0, r0.
Okay.
And then this is then x1, y1, r1.
Okay.
Right?
But the blue does not seem to be centered at the middle of the canvas.
I agree. Did we translate ourselves or anything?
I have a suggestion.
Yeah, please.
Maybe we should try just filling a square and play with our gradient and then put it back on the grid.
Great. Good.
So let's just do fill style.
Nice to see you.
I'm going to comment out all of our beautiful line drawing code. Okay, so that circle seems to be where.
Centered there? Makes me feel like I might have read the.
What happens if we just put 0, 0 for this?
What did you do? Okay, create radial.
Okay, 0, 0. Right, that went up to the 0, 0.
Okay.
That makes sense. Try half width. Half width. Okay, that looks good. Right? Maybe we just messed up our heights. Try half height. Half height. Okay, that looks good.
Okay. Oh yeah, maybe we just had like half width twice or something. Yeah, the problem with building on top of a spoon, building an entire city based on a spoon, is that like everyone has to relearn every single time if they want to do anything.
Yeah. But I think you grow to like the spoon. Like you're like what? You start to ask questions like how do I eat my pasta with a spoon? I gotta twirl my spaghetti. You get really good at it. You're like, I can do things with spoons. Will there be a stream on Fuchsia again? Yes, we are working on that. Don't quite have it lined up yet, but we need like approvals and stuff to do that. So it takes a little bit more time.
Yeah. But
yeah, thanks for coming.
It's not always our story to tell. That's what I was. People would ask me questions about Fuchsia all the time, and in my Flutter context, and I would just tell people it's not my story to tell. So, but that looks great.
Uh-huh.
You solve I think you want the way that it does it here. Well, it does like fuchsia, literally like hot pink here. To
okay, we could definitely do pink.
Sea green if you want.
Boom.
This, ironically, is a linear gradient across your what's it called? Sphere.
Across the sun.
Sun, yeah.
Okay.
Circle. All right.
Can we increase the thickness?
I think
lots of people like the spoon. Like we're not trying to rag on the spoon. It's just
well, to continue the analogy, they like their spoon attachment equipment. They like the entire freaking city that they bring along to attach to the spoon. I was playing this game with my kid called Astroneer, and in it you have this for whatever reason, the entire universe has like a universal attachment system. And I think it was done for like ease of control. So like you move things around. Anyways, I sort of feel that way, that like there is a spoon-shaped slot that the entire freaking world comes and attaches to.
Okay, this is a good example. So I didn't know what the thing. So I didn't know what the thing was called, right? So I instead of saying line width, because I don't know anything, I did stroke width.
And what did it do?
Nothing. It's not an error. It just does nothing. Because it's a JavaScript object. So we just added a new property to this JavaScript object called stroke width that is like perfectly ignored by everybody in the universe.
Of course. I love it.
Okay. Static was playing that game, by the way.
Yes. Astronaut is fun. I wish they did multiplayer better. Like, it's a great game. It just, yeah. It clearly is about multiplayer, but it's harder to multiplayer than it should be. Okay.
We need a sun.
We need a sun. We also need to move this down. I feel like this should be the bottom third, not half height.
Okay.
So I can work on that while you start as this sun.
I'll work on the sun. Let's just structure this more and like anyway. Fill style orange.
5.
It's kind of like fill circle, I guess.
I think I fixed it. I may have broken it all by changing stuff while it was broken, but...
Oh, sorry, I can comment out the thing that I'm saying. I might have broken it.
Is that comment out all your...
Yeah.
All right, so why is it not showing?
There's some... No. Do you have any red squigglies?
I don't. So if I turn this back, this should just have been renaming half height to horizon height. Oh, there's still a half height somewhere.
Does it have like the, can you do the rename symbol? Rename symbol.
Well, what did it do? I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, I have a squiggly here.
Right? So this needs to be horizon height. Yeah. Right, I was trying to move away from the concept of it being. There we go. Okay. Now, when I change this, because we're using this, so if I change this to be a third, it's going to change the gradient too. Whoa.
So I think you want it to be like 2/3, right?
Oh, sure. Okay. Wow, that the optical illusion is crazy.
What does the tell me about the illusion?
It makes it look kind of like a canoe to me with the.
Oh, it's like curved.
Yeah, like the horizon is curved up, which is not the direction you expect the horizon to go, but. Okay. Fixed it.
Okay, should we make the sun?
Let's do it.
I'm trying to make a circle.
I think you just draw a circle.
Okay.
Let me check. Draw a circle. Canvas. There's an arc method.
You're supposed to use the arc method.
What did you say?
Yeah, everyone keeps pointing me to the arc method.
Okay. Let's do it.
Do it. Fill style orange.
Yep.
Nailed it.
You and I are copying from the same W3 schools. Wow. That looks pretty good.
Fully not in the right place. Okay, so I'm going to imagine that this is X. This is Y. So the X I wanted to be half width.
What does it say? It says XY radius, starting angle, end angle, and counterclockwise, yes or no?
So this always like starting angle and I think it's wild, right? Because this is a floating point number. And so 2 times this crazy transcendental floating point number, is it really going to fully close my circle or is it going to do some extremely complicated shader to like miss a fractional slice.
I suspect it just special cases that. So at some layer, it's like, you're close enough to closed.
It's like I know what 2 times the pi constant transcendental number is. I know the exact bit pattern for that.
I don't know what layer that is, like whether that's down in Skia or whether that's at the DOM layer. But
I bet it's way down in Skia.
But somebody's catching.
If I had to guess,
somebody's catching your math and helping you out there.
Let's put the sun height at 1/3. Does that sound reasonable? Okay. And then 75.
Looks pretty convincing. Ooh.
60. It's pretty big. Okay. And we just draw those like cool knockout lines. How are we gonna do that? Is that like a clip?
Well, so there's all sorts of ways we could do it. We could do a clip, but we could also just do a gradient with a whole bunch of stops.
Oh, I like that. That makes sense.
I don't know if it's a good way.
Well, that'll allow us to do like nice blending in and out of it, right? Because if we do like a clip or something.
Well, you kind of want like 2, and this is where you end up with like, you have 2 gradients that are sort of interacting with each other here.
Can you do that? Is that?
You certainly could with a gradient function, just an arbitrary function. I don't know.
I mean, this to me looks like a gradient plus a clip. Like it looks to me like an orange to purple gradient, and then like a pretty complex clip to clip out the those lines.
It's a mask, effectively, right?
A mask, yeah. Because I feel like if there were clouds or something in the background, I would.
Well, in fact, you can see the underlying, like the background itself has a gradient.
Yeah. So let's try to do the gradient for the orange. So I think we want a linear gradient for that, right?
Yes, it definitely looks like you do a linear gradient of orange to light orange to pink with some dark orange in the middle.
Okay. I have way too many parameters for a linear gradient. I bet it's like.
Create linear gradient. It's from, and these are again global coordinates, right? So it's XX, it's XY, it's from XY to XY. Yeah.
Like sun radius is a constant, right?
Sure.
Oh, wait, that was our one. Okay, so this is like the x is this plus the sun radius, or minus the sun radius. The y is the half width. Okay, and this is. You're laughing. What's
I was thinking more about the spoon and how that my characterization, like it. I think it, for those of us who worked inside these things for so long, it's easy to pick on all the flaws. But you also like browsers, including JavaScript. Like, how many languages do you know that no matter what you throw at them, they will not crash?
No, the whole not crashing thing. Oops. Clearly, I'm supposed to do this for the y, not the x. That's another, like, to me, the one of the most genius ideas of the web is that if you follow a link to something that doesn't exist, you get back a nice page that says, "Hey, this thing doesn't exist. You want to go to our homepage? Here's our funny cartoon animal."
Yeah, on the 404. I just the web has so much amazing technology that sometimes you have to access through such crazy interfaces. Dark purple.
No?
And then you have this, right? Where your way of accessing all this crazy technology is just like blindly stab at it. You know, it won't crash. You just keep blindly stabbing at it.
It doesn't get too bad. It just doesn't draw my thing.
Yeah. Well, and then you end up with this, giant pile of code, half of which isn't really actually executed, or it is, but it like isn't doing anything. It's just like shoving things on properties on objects. Anyways, this looks great. The lines would be cool, yes. But I'm already getting
You're getting the vibe?
I'm already getting an 80s vibe. I don't know what
I really like this red color. I'm gonna put this in the other gradient instead of pink. No, it should be the other way around. It should be because the sun should be heating up the ground, right? Too much.
Oh. That's not bad though.
Maybe this should be. The background is perfect.
blending too fast too. Like you need another
like
top that's in between.
I need like a. See, it says I need a dark purple. They have all these awesome colors.
Well, there's whole like sites on the web that'll give you all sorts of color setups for you, color themes.
Let's try this.
So I do think that we need your lines. We need to make a mask. All right, draw with mask canvas. Compositing and clipping.
I think we're supposed to do a clip, like.
So this we could make a clipping path.
Yeah, we want a clipping path. So we're going to draw like a series of lines, right? Yeah, here's clip. Yeah, I think we do save. Yeah. Okay, begin path.
Well, is the clip then? So I think what you're drawing then, the clip is a circle.
The clip
is a circle, and what you're actually drawing is the lines and the gradient on top of just in a square or something like that, and you clip it to be a circle. Mic drop.
Okay.
Maybe that's not the right. Talking back to our alignment in.
I was thinking maybe that the like I think I want to see the purple of the like I don't want to draw a purple line, right? I want to draw.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
The problem is like that's a really complicated clip path that you're building.
No. Okay. Let's just try to build a very simple clip path. So this whole thing, but.
Turns the path currently being built into the current clipping path.
Yeah, so we succeeded in making a clip here. Like,
Sure. Okay.
Okay. So instead, I want to do. Oh, I want the opposite. I want the. Yeah. So I want to draw. Let's start filling some. Let's add some rectangles. How do I add? Like I want to add a rect to my path here.
All right, here I found a Stack Overflow example. I sent you.
Okay.
No, but this still isn't going to be quite right.
Close path. Yeah.
But the difficulty is that, so to do this.
What I was imagining doing is basically making a clip that was like the top half as one, and then I was going to like skip a little bit and then do the next path, like another rectangle, and then skip a little bit more. But I don't think that's actually what's going on here. Like I think if I look at this picture, it looks more like these lines are being drawn on top of the sun, and they're being clipped to the sun. So I think you're right. I think the circle is the clip.
How
would
the circle be the clip?
Okay. We can also do it without a clip. Let's try doing it without a clip. So let's just draw on top, right? We could just say...
Draw the lines.
Fill style equal, just for simplicity.
Yeah, because there's like a spacing thing that we have to figure out with the lines too.
Let's do how do we make a... fill rect. Fill rect, it's going to be, the x is going to be half width minus the sun's radius.
Oh, I didn't realize we were over time.
Oh, okay. Maybe we should stop here. We have a nice drawing. Like I think the next time I think we need to add these lines. Hi, Andrew. Thanks for coming.
Okay. Yeah, the time got away with us. I guess we were just having fun.
I had a lot of fun.
It's pretty decent. Is this like a real live like site?
Oh yeah, I think so. I think if you plug this into your browser, you'll go see it.
reactivebinary.abarth1.repl.co.
Try it. Oh, we can't see it. You didn't load it in a place that we could see.
Oh yeah, sorry. I think it's I don't know. It's reaching out.
I mean, I also maybe you have to pay Replit or something to get an actual public thing.
That may be true too.
But you can totally host entire like sites in Replit.
Crazy.
Oh, we got another question here before we sign off.
As someone entering university this fall, could you recommend the 3 most important concepts to learn from, or? I mean, I guess the first thing I would say is that the whole job is learning.
Yeah, I mean, what you see us doing on the show is like we're not using a ton of deep concepts. Like we do have experience with like drawing vectors and stuff, but this is how I learned all this stuff. Is literally the process we use on the show. So like getting an environment. To me, I'm very visual, so that's why I was drawn to the web originally, is because it was easy for me to make a web page and see it, because the hello world of a web page is literally hello world, and then I would just want to make it do things, and then I would try to just search on Google like, how do I draw a circle? And like, okay, here's some code snippet, draw a circle, right? And you can build it like this is sort of the self-teaching path, but you can build up really far in this way. Like
yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah, I fundamentally disagree with the idea of I'm a Kotlin developer or I'm an iOS developer or whatever. I think that any technology that you start to learn today is going to be less useful 3 years from now. So really the important lesson is learning, right? So I learned all sorts of terrible, useless technologies back in 1990s when I was learning how to be a programmer.
Yeah, well, you can definitely get like I did a whole like university, like I did undergraduate in computer science and masters and PhD and all this stuff, and you learn stuff, like it's true, but like I feel like in the practical sense, you just learn by doing things. And so I would just like if you're into 80s retro vector graphics, just like try to find a thing where you can draw it and figure out how to do it and go from there. Like to me, it was the thing I started with was fractals. I thought fractals were cool.
Yeah.
And so like somewhere on the Internet Archive or Wayback Machine or whatever, you can probably find some website I made a long time ago that was just fractals because I thought they were cool.
Yeah. I remember drawing fractals and thinking those were cool too. So
yeah, just do things. Like,
yeah.
It's also like it's a good like end where you like start where you want to end. Like in the end, you want to do a thing, so you sort of start by doing smaller things, like drawing this picture. Like how did we start? It's like, oh wait, we got to draw the horizon. Like horizon is a line. Okay, let's figure out how to draw a line. Once we can do that, then we can figure out how to do more things. And like it helps to know trigonometry. Like if you want to draw curves and stuff, and like math, and like if you want to build a complicated program, it's you need some data structures, and you probably need to know what a database is and what it's good for. But you can just build up to that just by doing.
Well, because the things that you are interested in doing, you will do so much better. Like I went to school in a tiny college in Wisconsin, which didn't really have a CS program. And so I was a math major. And I rented library books from the Berkeley Library all the way far away in California, which I'd never been to, because I was interested in the subject matter. And I just think that matters so much more.
Your thing is operating systems. Scary. So operating systems are just many, many different things. And so you just have to start somewhere. Like I'm sort of a fan of the Serenity OS project that Kling is doing, which is it's neat because it's all self-contained. So you can just go see what he's up to, like download his code, build it, and try to use it. And probably you try to use it, you'll find there's something that it doesn't do that it should do, and you can just try to figure out like, how do I make it do that? Like on Twitter today, he was talking about how they were trying to make Discord work because he wanted to basically interact with his community over Discord in his own OS, and that, you know, there's probably some bugs and stuff, and then you learn how a browser works. Like, just,
when you listen, Andreas has videos about this. Like, we used to work with him back in the web browser world, and he has a whole like hour-long video about how he got his jobs. You know, and a lot of it's teaching himself and luck and being, I want to do this thing. But you can go watch his video. But yeah, I mean, nobody knows these things until they do them. Like, if you ever join one of these big tech companies or whatever, they do software development in a way that you just have no way to learn in university or whatever. So it's just about showing up and trying. Okay.
Thanks. I'm glad you enjoyed the show. We enjoy doing it. Like, we do this because it's not to become famous on the internet. Like, we're not going to become famous on the internet.
I'm not quitting my day job.
For this kind of show, we do it because it's fun. We enjoy it.
Yeah, Thomas makes a good point. Exactly. Having people to ask. IRC was it in my generation, but open source is just such a cheat code for this, because you can go and work directly with people who are paid lots of money to get really good at these things, and you can just have direct access to them over Discord or, again, IRC or whatever.
And then also real projects, like a lot of the projects we're looking at are like example or tutorial projects, which are, you know, simplified, but like a real project that's doing a real thing is going to be doing it the real way. Anyways,
this was awesome. I love talking to people about this kind of stuff. So people should ask more questions, maybe earlier in the show, so we don't feel like we're keeping people. Oh my goodness, it's Kevin!
Hey Kevin, thanks for dropping by. Anyway, we got to end this, but thanks everyone for coming. We'll see you next week.
See you next week. Take care.